down the school hall, from across the street, from sometimes, as Jesus said here, even from those within the church itself. It hurts, doesn't it? And what Jesus is really challenging the people of Smyrna to do in this message, and he's challenging us as well, is he said, I want you to weigh this out. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to give you, the watered down version. I'm going to give it to you straight so you know exactly what is coming. But I want you to weigh it with what else is coming besides that. He says, I know the affliction, how hard it hits. I know how painful when those things come at you. I know the pressing, like the grape in the press. Jesus says, I know what that feels like. He says, I know the poverty. I know the poverty. I know that sometimes you look at other people and you say, how come they can cut corners? How come they can do this and they get away with it? And they get to do all these things that I don't get to do. And why won't God catch them? I feel like they're getting away with everything. They're rich and I don't have anything at all. Jesus said, I know what that feels like. I know the poverty. And Jesus speaks as well. And he says, I know what slander feels like. I know it's like the sticks and stones that break your bones. I know how much it hurts. And Jesus even tells us, I know how difficult the time of persecution is that's coming. I know that's another brick that pounds you, another thing that hurts. I know that that's coming. And I know as well, Jesus doesn't say the word there exactly, but I know the temptation is there to give in. I know the temptation is there to throw in the towel. I know that one of the things that you want to say sometimes is, this is too hard. This is going on too long. I don't know that I can go anymore on this. Maybe is there a shortcut? Do I get out of jail free pass? What can I do to get out of this? I know that the temptation is there. Jesus knows that as well. And Jesus says, I know these bricks that get thrown at you. I know how painful they are, and I know how much they hurt. But I want you to weigh this against something. I want you to consider that this temporary thing that you're going through is not the end. I want you to consider what else is coming. He says, you know your poverty, but I want you to know the riches that I have that completely overwhelm what you think is poverty. I want you to remember that what you try to store up here is going to corrode, and you got to watch it all the time, and it can fade away. But what I am storing up for you are riches that are beyond compare. Jesus said, I also want you to know this. You don't have to be afraid. I'm the one who conquered death. I'm the one who walked into Hades and took back from Satan the keys that he had, and he doesn't have them anymore. I'm the one who kicked the teeth out of his mouth. He can't bite you anymore. He can't destroy you anymore because I have all those things, and you don't have to be afraid. Not of any man, not of anything, because I have those keys. And then Jesus says this, you persevere, you get a crown. I will, not I might, I will give to the one who stands through this, the crown of life. And look what he says in this last verse. He who has an ear, he's speaking to us, if you have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. He who overcomes will not be hurt by the second death. Hey, you know what? Your persecution, these bricks over here, it might end in your physical death. But that's not the worst thing that could happen to you. He who perseveres, he who stands in this, will not be hurt at all by the second death. We get eternal life. We get eternal life. There is no more death that has its sting or its fear for us. And so Jesus says, hey, you know what? These hurt. But look at these compared to what he gives us. In the midst of the persecution, in the midst of the affliction, in the midst of the slander, in the midst of the poverty, in the midst of your temptation to want to throw in the towel, remember that he has eternal riches. He has eternal life. He has a crown, the crown of glory that He wants to give you. And so He says, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of what's coming. It is coming, but don't be afraid. It is coming, but don't be afraid. I'm the one who has overcome.